I want to go to our colleague Matt Bradley, who is also in Tel Aviv, who I understand has some new reporting on this. Matt, what do you know?
Well, we're just seeing this. I'm just parsing out this statement like the rest of us, Hallie. You know, it is confusing. One of the things that really turns me around here is that he says officially Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war. Clearly, President Trump sees this 12-day war as a successor to the 6-day war. So it looks as though, and I don't know any more than you do here, Hallie, but it looks as though Iran is going to stop firing, and then 12 hours later, Israel will be enjoined to stop firing. And upon the 24th hour, both of them, or the war will be officially declared over. That almost makes it sound like Israel will have its way with Iran for a 12-hour period between the time when Iran starts its end of the ceasefire and then Israel picks up on its end, though he does say that during each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful. It's confusing because, of course, you do think of a ceasefire as being a mutual agreement, not that one can have a ceasefire and the other, unless one just simply ceases firing and the other is allowed to continue firing. That doesn't sound like much of a negotiated agreement. However, we're going to have to give President Trump the benefit of the doubt here. He's announcing a major, as Keir said, a major advancement here, even though it is kind of unclear how the mechanics of this are all supposed to work, especially if the Israelis are allowed to continue firing for 12 hours, already having dominance over Iranian airspace. But as Keir mentioned, the Israelis still have a lot of unfinished business, especially when it comes to that uranium that nobody knows where it's gone. So, right. I mean, it's unclear where this is all going to be going from here. It all starts 6 hours from now, according to the president. Again, we haven't heard anything from the Israelis. It's very late here, 1:30, so we might not hear anything. But it's going to be before dawn when this ceasefire actually starts, or around dawn. So this country is going to be experiencing quite a bit of whiplash in the next couple of hours. I can tell you that Israelis went to bed tonight thinking that they were going to be woken up by more sirens and more bombardments.
Matt Bradley, I'm going to ask you to stand by because, to your point, it is not just President Trump who is talking about this. It is now Vice President Vance as well, Yamiche, who is still with us outside the White House. He has just, I believe, finished speaking. What can you tell us about what the VP has to say?
Yeah, so as the president is making this striking announcement, and we're still waiting, of course, for confirmation from Israel and Iran, the vice president is essentially throwing his support behind this idea that this ceasefire agreement has been reached. And he said this is a great thing, as you said, for Israel and Iranians, a new opportunity to actually pursue what he called the path of peace. He also said that the 12-day war appears to be effectively over. That's exactly his words. He said we have an opportunity now to restart a real peace process. He went on to say that it's now that the Iranians who now need to play it smart from here. So to me, it's really interesting because as he's saying that this ceasefire has been breached and that the war is over, he's also signaling that Iran now has a decision to make about the way forward. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how Iran talks about this. It's also very interesting to get details, I think, about exactly how this ceasefire was brokered. We know that the president was talking to both sides, that he spent all day in the Situation Room talking to his top defense officials and top aides about this, and that he was in the middle of negotiations. The vice president is essentially saying that there was the president in the middle of this all day that allowed this ceasefire to be brokered. Of course, that is the Trump administration stance. Still waiting to see how, of course, the other two countries that are involved here categorize this and talk about this. But it is interesting that the vice president is now out publicly saying that this 12-day war is effectively over.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.